Kore hi te manu, tākere mai I te ata ka awatea ti hei mauri ora. E kare mā, nau mai hoki mai ki a Marae I tēnei tau ko Miriama kamo tōku ingoa. Ki te whakarewa I tō tātou waka I tēnei ata he kōrero whakahira. It's been devastating. The closure of the Winstone Pulp International mills Tangiwai and Karioi saw the Ruapehu district lose hundreds of jobs with ripple effects across related industries. It's been 6 months since the community's braced for a bleak future. For local whānau, the potential of having to move their children away from their marae and support networks was grim. But what's been the reality? Leigh-Marama McLachlan went to see how whānau are faring now.
In September 2024, the biggest employer in the Ruapehu region made the shock announcement it was shutting down. Within a matter of weeks, more than 230 mill workers at Winstone Pulp International lost their jobs. It was a huge blow for a population of 3,000, and they're still picking up the pieces.
I was shattered. Yeah. Just because of the life it gave us. And yeah, not knowing how to sustain their life without their job.
Oh, it was unreal. Like, there was no warning. We just bought a house. I mean, privileged to be in that position, but like, how do you not know? And then you drop it 2 months later.
Tell you what, there was no sleep going on, trying to figure things out. So if I could stay here and work and what that'd look like. Any situation I come up with, I couldn't see it working other than packing up and leaving.
With few jobs in the small towns of Ruapehu and Ohakune, more than 60 former mill workers and their whānau have moved away. The Vine whānau, the latest to leave. Tomorrow they move to Australia.
We never had an intention to ever leave this place. Yeah, but sort of our hands were forced.
You said you don't want the kids to leave the pā.
Because you want to train those babies up from when they're young. They can't skip steps. You've got to start on the tea-towel. It's like, how are they going to learn all these things if they're not there on the ground? Everything is paradise here. Yeah, and so much things to do and so much support around us, and yeah, we're going to a place that has none of that.
Even those who have found work locally are still making sacrifices, trying to make ends meet.
The conditions and the money here were really, really good. So you could consciously spend within the community. You could take the whānau out to the local restaurant, or you could, plan stage 2 of the home, or look at purchasing in this area with confidence.
Jude worked at the mill for 20 years and says it was like a whānau.
So many people had just gone and invested and bought homes, bought new vehicles. And so a huge fear factor, knowing that without the 2 mills in operation, where to? That's the biggest employer within the area.
Almost half of the population here are Māori. The iwi Ngāti Rangi worked hard to set up a support plan with other agencies. Jude secured a job, offering pastoral care to former mill workers.
Hey, morena, Eva.
Morena, Jude.
I guess people have felt isolated, a lack of closure, if you like, siloed. I know that's a term. They feel like they've been removed from the community that they were working in. Anger, frustration. If they had known more lead time, they would have maybe not made so many expensive purchases, and now they're under the hammer. Frustration and the lack of work that's available.
And he's concerned that the worst is yet to come.
Oh, kia ora, brother Chief. Oh, how are you getting on, brother? There's a great amount of our workers that are in seasonal work, so they've found the work straight away. And if you know the Ruapehu region, the seasonal work is right up until around May, that's when things start to wind down. So I'm just a bit concerned about what they're going to do.
The Ruapehu Mayor says the region is now down $100 million a year. More houses are on the market, and it's having a ripple effect across the community.
Hey guys. Nice to meet you.
Well, it's a huge problem, of course, to the community because you lose families, you lose children, for example, going to school. There are a lot of support agencies that are affected, but economically, from a council point of view, it's a long-term loss.
It's hit the region like a train. After 45 years, the mills ultimately closed down because of the skyrocketing price of power. All the while, power companies are making hundreds of millions in profit each year.
It was a slap in the face for rural New Zealand, and to have this loss due to mostly through energy prices in this country is just appalling. So I think the government got a lot of work to do. Bear in mind, of course, that energy companies were making huge profits, nearly $1 billion in profits each year going to government, some of that through dividends. So on one hand, they were receiving dividends. On the other hand, they saw hundreds of people being laid off as a result of high energy pricing and other things. But I think that's just testimony that it's not quite right from the central government point of view.
The steady loss of manufacturing industry like this, a huge blow to heartland New Zealand. Kinleith Mill in Tokorua is set to downsize in June, where another 230 people will be out of a job.
I think you really have to get grassroots and see how this truly affects communities, because there's such a huge ripple effect, and not just with the lack of in the local economy and the pūtea going back into your community, but also the mental strain, the mental health, the whānau unit being split up. Those sorts of things have huge impacts. So when decision making in this space, you have to take all that into consideration and really fight for our jobs.
It's sad to see everyone leaving, especially as we're a lot older.
Yeah. Sort of losing the heart of the town when everyone who grew up there is disappearing.
The life that we live here in Cooney, the life that I live, the life that I was raised in, you can't really photocopy it and do it again in Australia. I mean, we're just doing what we can do to stay together. I says, as long as we stay together, that's all that matters.
I don't actually know what it's going to look like. You know, we dream to come home one day. Just hope it's not too late for them.
Yeah, well, there are more challenges to come for these communities. Marae will continue to follow this story in the coming months. For Māori, maunga are more than just geographical features. They're sacred ancestors, identity markers, sources of strength and connection to the whenua. Each iwi has ancestral mountains woven into their whakapapa. So imagine this. Your maunga is up for sale by tender, meaning it'll sell to the highest bidder. Last week, that became a reality in Hawke's Bay. Kahurānaki Station is an 1,156 hectare beef and sheep farm east of Hastings, upon which Kahurānaki maunga sits. Owned by the Greenwood family since 1924, the station's sale closes at the end of April. Now, a Māori-led initiative is in a race against time to raise millions of dollars to secure its future.
Tau kei te hokona te pāmu o Kahurānaki Station.
Kahurānaki Station is up for sale.
Hiki tia hāpainga ake I te tautara ki Kahurānaki. Anei rā ko tētehi o ngā maunga whakahi o Ngāti Kahungunu me Ngāti Whātui Āpiti.
E roto nā te kahununu, he tōru nā maunga, ko Kahurānaki, mai atu ki kaua hei, mai atu ki te wheo.
I hokona atu te maunga I te tau ko 1854. Koe nei te wā tuatahi I ngā tau e ko tahirau. Kua tukuna a Kahurānaki ki te hoko.
I tapu kei tōna taumata, he urupā kei tōna taumata, e tino hira tēnei maunga kia mātou.
Kahurānaki.
Kai te whakapeto ngoe ngā ure o Kahungunu ki te hoko I tō rātou maunga tapu.
Maunga Kahurānaki, tō pui pukarea.
Maunga Kahurānaki is my home.
Hei tā rātou, mō ngā uri whakaheke, te take. Nā whai anō, ko whakare waina he kaupapa pena pūtea. E kia nei, ko he maunga ka tāia, ko te kaumārua miriona tāra, te whainga, i te wiki ko tahi, ko neke atu, i te toru te kaumārima mano tāra, te wāriu o te puna pena pūtea, kua ko atu ki te kaupapa. Hei tā kali aroha huata, te tehi o ngā kaiwhakahaere, he nui tonu ngā mahi kei mua i te aroaro. Hoi anō, he maunga, ka tāia.
Here to discuss this is Kelly Aroha Huata from He Maunga Ka Taia. Kia ora ngā mihi nui ki a koe. What was your reaction when you first saw this come up for sale?
Me whono ngā kōrero, when it first came up for sale, we were just sitting back thinking, yeah, our iwi's going to jump on it. Someone's going to jump on it. And then we just heard silence. And for me, that silence was too loud. So a day went past and then we just kicked into gear the following day and said, well, we don't have $12 million, but as a collective, if we can all come together as tangata tiriti, as an iwi, as a motu, I know collectively we can get this maunga back for the uri of Kahurānaki, ka mutu mo te iwi whānui.
I mean, how has the maunga been considered in the time that it's been in the care, I guess, of the Greenwood whānau? Has that brought any mamae in of itself?
I think for me personally, it's just, this is an opportunity that we don't want to let pass. So I think in terms of mamae, there isn't any mamae there. There's an opportunity here to try and get our maunga back. Let's back ourselves that we can do it, believe that we can do it, be positive in it. We've got like aroha at the forefront of every decision we make. And so it's just about doing our best to get it back. If the process is a tender, the process is a tender, and let's do it. Because I think, times have changed. We're clever people. We know we've got strong relationships. We've got tangata tiriti who want to see our maunga back in our hands, that the maunga's back in Māori ownership. So I think we're proud of those attitudes. We're proud to see the attitudinal shift in our community. And so I think that makes us hopeful. That makes us hopeful that our people can heal, that our people who are spiritually and emotionally connected to our maunga, we recite it in our pepeha, that there's an opportunity to get this back. So I think mātā mua ko te whakapono. So at the forefront in everything that we're doing, regardless of the history of how this maunga ended up in the hands of non-Māori, it's about believing that in this time, in this year, we've got an opportunity to get it back, so let's do it.
So what's been the response so far to the campaign?
I suppose there's definitely an element of disbelief that we have to buy it back. And for me, I'd rather not sit in that mind frame. And it's just being a beacon of hope for our people to say, let's do it, let's fundraise, let's put the tono out there, let's crowdfund it. And just by showing up every day and showing tamariki that are putting their $10 in, and showing tangata tiriti putting their $200 in, and showing kaumātua gifting of $50, that is just having a flow-on effect for others to want to contribute to getting the maunga back. So I think it started off slow, but every day we're gaining more and more and more momentum. So it's been contagious. This kaupapa has been contagious. And it's really about not just getting our maunga back, but putting the pātai out there to other people who recite pepeha. When's the last time you've gone and climbed your maunga? Or can you access your maunga? Because just through this journey, we've seen actually there are so many of our significant tribal landmarks that are actually under private ownership, and people don't even know that. So that's been another opportunity to educate our people on kapai. Now you know that if this opportunity comes up for you to buy your maunga back, what are you going to do about it? And so just through sharing our own lived experiences over the last I'd say a week, but also leading up to this about, yeah, we're getting our reo back, but there's got to be, what's the next step in reo back? Oh, it's whenua back, it's whakapono back, it's showing our kids that we can achieve anything we want to achieve. We just got to believe we can do it. So I think, yeah, the response has just been contagious, and every day more and more people are asking, how can we help? How can we tautoko?
Ai, hoi anō, he nui te putia, te kaumārua miriona tāra, how are you going to get to that amount?
Yeah, I think do karakia. Through collective efforts, yeah, we've got so many people doing fundraisers. We've got whakangaho, we've got ringatoi, so artists across the motu that are gifting art pieces to then be auctioned off. We've got, yeah, a lot of pakihi that are doing raffles, that are donating. So there, over the next 4 weeks, there are so many kaupapa that are happening, and it's being updated every day as we go. And for us, there's no one way on how we're going to do it. It's whatever idea anyone has. No mai haere mai me era whakaro. We welcome it, and yeah, just through tuatakitini efforts, we're hoping to get there. But working alongside our iwi and our post-settlement government entities, just collective efforts all round.
So who's involved?
At the moment, he maunga kataia involves everyone, anyone and everyone that wants to be a part of getting our maunga back.
Who's driving the initiative?
Specific person. Pardon?
Who's driving it?
Oh, koau. Koau, yeah. Mātai puaku hoa, so there was 3 of us that came up with the idea to crowdfund it.
Yeah, how much money have you got so far?
We're at 38,000, something like that, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good for a start point. But a long, yeah, he rote ara ne. So how are you going to get there by the end of April? A lot of prayers, as you say, but what do you need people to do?
Tautoko mai. If we've got, I did a bit of maths before we even launched this campaign. We've got a social media page, and we've got 40,000 followers on our social media page. And I said, if everyone gave $300, we'll get there. And
$300?
So yeah, if everyone on our following gave $300, we would get there. And then it's just, if 80,000 people gave $150, we would get there. So there's ways of breaking it all down, but others can give more in some ways, and others can give less in some ways. But yeah, just any tautoko that we can get from everyone across the motu, we'll be grateful. And like I said, where we are at the moment, we're just grateful for that, because it shows that there are people that believe in this way of getting whenua back, that not everything has to be a fight, that actually it can be a collective effort of people believing that my $10 and my mokopuna's $10 and my mokopuna who's not even here yet, their putia that we're going to gift on behalf of those uri that are not here yet are all going to contribute to something big.
Ngā mihi nui. Oh, I so hope that you get, well, we all do. Our tautoko is behind you 100% because, as you say, this is such an important kaupapa. So ngā mihi nui kia koe, kia kaha.
Kia ora, tēnā koe hoa, tēnā koutou.
Tēnā koe. Oh, well, he's known as one of the toughest players in the NRL, but after 10 years with the Warriors, Jazz Tevaga was faced with the harsh reality that he'd have to leave the only club and the only home he's ever known. At the same time, he was dealing with something far more personal, the heartbreaking loss of his best mate to cancer. But through it all, he's proving that strength isn't just about what happens on the field. Courtney Tairi caught up with him while he was back to play against his old club.
Well, kia ora, Jazz. How's life on the northern beaches?
Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. Wish I could say I was happy to be back, but I didn't want to leave home, so my new home. But yeah, I'm loving it over there.
What are the biggest differences that you've found from moving from here over to the northern beaches?
Well, there's no bakeries on every corner. Far out, there's heaps of differences. Well, you know, just waking up, it's sunny all the time. We live 5 minutes from the beach, so me and my missus walk down there with baby, have a coffee most mornings, and then head off to training. Yeah, it's really nice over there. Bit different than South Auckland, that's for sure.
You were a one-club man at the Warriors, so what was that like when you realised you wouldn't be there anymore and you had to make a move away from the only club you'd ever known?
Yeah, that was hard to take. Yeah, I understood. and it was my time to go. So, and the Warriors want to keep the young talent coming through, and I was upset, but at the same time, I understood.
A highlight for you is playing for the Māori All-Stars. How important was that game and being part of that environment in your career?
I take that very seriously. For us as Māori, to inspire the next generation coming through, I want our kids to follow their dreams. We have a lot of negative stereotypes as Māori men, and I want to be like a positive light for them. I think it's important that the NRL keep this game and clubs push it for our players to play, our best players to play, because I reckon it's very important for our people.
How does that conversation go when the clubs don't really see the game how we see it, and that it's more than just a game and that players want to be part of it? And it's not just the game itself. There's a whole week where you're going out into the communities and sharing our culture over there in Australia, or whether it's the Aboriginal team, Indigenous side coming to New Zealand and sharing their culture here. Yeah, it's very important, and we don't get much opportunities as Māori or Indigenous, especially Aboriginals over there. Even for the boys over there that, we talk about lose a bit of identity, how they get to reconnect. And say Kurt Moran, he was my roomie. He's Māori, but he was obviously born and raised in Aussie. And it was just cool as for him to dive into that. And even teaching him the haka and that was mad. And he just dove in straight away, and yeah, it was cool. You're one of the foundation members for Kotahitanga, which plays in the Māori tournaments here. Did you ever think when you started with them, they're celebrating 10 years this year, that it would lead to having the Māori All-Stars on a main game fixture part of the NRL? No, I didn't. But, what they're doing for our tamariki as well, like Aaron, the head honcho there, he's doing wonders for our kids, and he's giving them that those opportunities and that spotlight. I know a lot of scouts in there are coming to watch him now because they've got a lot of talent coming through. And speaking of tamariki, now that you are a father, how important is it for you to share your culture with your daughters and just make sure they know who they are, their whakapapa, where they come from? Yeah, obviously very important. I want them to know who they are, where they're from, their whakapapa, their iwis. And that's very important to my partner as well, Kitty Jane. She's from the East Coast. She's Ngāti. Ngāti. Yeah, so she's actually said once I'm finished footy, she wants to move back there. So we'll see how things go. I quite like it on the beaches, but yeah, it's very important for us, yeah. Shifting gears now, your best friend Roman sadly passed away from cancer this year. You were there by his side. What was that like for you, going through all of that? Yeah, that was still one of the hardest moments of our lives. Excuse me. Yeah, we lost him 3 weeks ago now. I went and saw him, and he could barely recognise him, and then I just sat there and talked with him for hours, which I'll always hold, close to my heart, and yeah, rocked us. It still rocked us, and we still don't know how we're going to get through it, but we will take a day at a time, and yeah. What kind of a man, friend and player was he? Roman, he was the BFG, big friendly giant. On the field, he was a beast, but off the field, he was the big cuddly teddy bear. He's the nicest fella you'll ever meet. I haven't met anyone to say a bad thing about Roman, and yeah, just shows that life isn't fair sometimes. But what are some of the other lessons you learnt just from his resilience and the way that he fought? Yeah, so a quick story about Roman. His last days, they had offered him pain relief, but the pain relief would make him drowsy. So he opted not to take pain relief so he could stay present with his family. So he endured so much pain every day till the day he died. And for me, it's it's a reminder. So when things get hard, things can be so much worse. And even a quick story, when I was injured in 23, I was down because the Wires were winning heaps of games, and I was on the sideline injured, and I was a bit not depressed, but I was a bit sad that I was getting left out. But my missus, I remember she just had enough because I was just drinking heaps and shit. She goes, "You got a friend there who's fighting for his life, and you're complaining about a little injury." And when you step back and put things in perspective, things can be so much worse. And now
that's something I want to try to live by, is when things get hard, even if it's training or something, just think of my bro and what he went through. Tiny compared to the things he went through, yeah.
And do you feel like that is one of his legacies that he will leave with you, or what's his legacy that he's left to just give it resilience, fighting to the end?
That's it, and that's what I think he's left us with, is, you know, resilience. When things get hard, we can push through, to be grateful for everything that we have, the life we live, and not waste the opportunity that we have.
Ngā mihi, Jazz. Now, we were hoping to bring you our interview with Francis and kai ora tipene tēnā I tēnei atahi o ia no. We'll keep you updated as we follow the story through. He aitua, kua hinga te toki o te ao pāpāho. Broadcasting stalwart Pere Maitai has passed away. He was one of the first generation of Māori reporters on television, paving the way as a mentor for Māori journalists like me for over 40 years.
Kai te rere kau nā mihi poroporo a ki kiaru ia mai te ratonga irirangi o te motu. I nā hoki ko te rā tēnei e pau ai tana kirimana ranona kōrero.
Kei te tangita ngākau, mō ngā kai mahi o ngā nei. Hei te mohi au, kei te haere atu rā, ki wera atu mahi. Hei pai te tinana, hei pai te wairua. Ko ngā tāngata e hara mai I aua tūranga, e tino matatau ki te reo Māori, e tino matatau ki roto ngā mahi āiwi. Kei te āwangawanga e mātou, kia te māngai pāho. Nō te mea, kei te whakaro e mātou, mō ngā take e pāna ki te reo Māori, I runga ngā reo irirangi.
A popo ka timata te kirimana hau o wātea. He tika hoki rā kia whakawhiti atu ētahi o ngā kairipoata nei.
Mā rātou e whai atu te huarahi mō rātou. Ko te mea nui hei whakarongo te iwi Māori, I roto te reo Māori, mō ngā kawe kōrero.
I te rangatira Pere, haere atu I te ara whānau, I te ara I ngaruai koe I te ao tūroa. Well, if you've missed anything this morning, check Marae out online. Ngā mihi e te whānau, ka kiti a koutou a tērā wiki, kia haumaru te noho. Ko te reo, te take.